Hello again, fellow audiophiles. I am Wave Theory, and in this video we are taking a look at these guys. These are the Moondrop Aria 2 IEMs. These are a single dynamic driver IEM that lists for $90 US. These were a loan from Apos Audio. Apos has asked nothing in return other than a fair and honest evaluation of these and an affiliate link, which you will find in the description down below. Now, I only use affiliate link money to support the channel, and don't worry about that impacting my objectivity on this, as I think you'll find out here in the video, because my takeaway on these here is that they are just okay. They are not really poor, but they are not really great either. And so I'm going to unpack that here through this video as we go through the course of the review. So stick around for shameless self-promotion and then find out why I say that these are just kind of okay after that. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Wave Theory's human companion, and he wants you to know that your support of this YouTube channel helps keep the reviews coming. If you enjoy Wave Theory's honest, thorough style, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the links in the description below to sign up for the Patreon or send him a tip through PayPal. All right, enjoy the musings.
Moondrop Aria 2. All right, what do you get for your $90 US here? This is the stock packaging, Moondrop and their anime girls. I don't quite get that trend, but they're all over that. Okay, box is fairly simple. Okay, it's got this slip sleeve over the top of it. On the back, we have some specs. Let's take a quick look at those. We'll just talk about these really quick. And we see that the sensitivity, 122 decibel per volt RMS at 1 kilohertz. That's fairly high in sensitivity. Impedance, 33 ohms. That's a little on the high side for an IEM, I think, but it's not terrible. These are not particularly difficult to drive, and that 122 decibel sensitivity is, again, on the high side, so they are not particularly demanding, all that. And there you see the rest of the fun stuff, if you want to look at it here. These are a dynamic driver IEM. I believe it's a single dynamic driver that Aria, or Moondrop, excuse me, talks up their magnet structure on the Apos website. So if you're curious about that, you can go over there and look at it, and then you can see their in-factory, in-house measurement on their the frequency response there. I know the IEM market, this sometimes is like the most important thing. I think there's more to it than that, but for those curious, there it is. We see that it's just a little bit above target in the mid-bass there. Okay, and then hues pretty closely, a little bit of jaggedness in the treble there in the upper regions, but, you know, not too bad. All right, let's open this thing up. I tried to repack it as it showed up from Apos. Nice texturing that the light shows off well on the box there. Okay, but I may not have succeeded. We'll see. Yeah, the IEMs fell through. Okay, pick this little sleeve out here. There are the IEMs themselves. We'll take a closer look at these here in just a moment. Okay. IEMs can sometimes really be a challenge to get out of their little holders. This one's not too bad. Underneath the holder on the left-hand side, we get this little box. That's essentially just a little file folder, because in here you get the authenticity cards and, you know, the what is that? The quality control, certification card, owner's manual, all that stuff right here fits inside this little cardboard sleeve. Right, I do this, I show the packaging and all of that and the accessories for IEMs because they typically have more robust accessories packages than headphones do, so that's more interesting to do that. I frankly find unboxings usually quite boring, so I don't do them. I might be unique in that, but that's one reason that I don't do them. All right, little leather carrying case here with the Moondrop logo on it. Unzip this, and inside here we get the stock cable. get an adapter for the stock cable, more on that in a moment, and we get just some basic ear tips in there. None of these work particularly well for me, so I ended up using SpinFit CP145s, which I will link to those where you can buy them on Amazon down in the description below if they are of interest to you. All right, the cable, you can see it does, it's got a little bit of springiness and memory to it. It's not too bad. Like, it doesn't tangle up horribly. I mean, there's a little bit of one right there. It's more just like looped around back on itself. Okay, so anyway, not the most tangle resistant cord ever. Again, you can definitely see it's got some springiness to it. Okay, and snaps back to its, yeah, well, leave it there. Okay. This system is pretty nice right here. This one cable can be either single-ended or balanced, right? So you get these two plugs here. See this one, which is the 3.5 millimeter single-ended TRS, and then here we get the 4.4 millimeter Pentacon balanced. And this part right here unscrews. Okay, so we get some threading there, and then that comes off, and then this just pulls right out. And you'll see that we have this 4-pin system in here. And there's a little bit of a notch. Okay, I'll try to line them up here so you can see it. Yep, there we go. A little bit of a notch there on the top there, and then a corresponding, whatever you want to call that, anti-notch. I don't know what the right word is off the top of my head at the moment. Okay, right there that help you get this lined up correctly. Or you can look on the outside of these. They very thoughtfully gave you two. Come on, camera, show it. They very thoughtfully gave you two little arrows that you line up and struggle to get them to put together. Very nice. Always does this on camera, right? Come on. There we go. There it is. Got it. And then this thing is not stopped from slipping way down the cable, so that's something that you might want to keep in mind. But you just bring this back up here, you screw it back down, and boom, now you have a single-ended cable if you had a balanced or vice versa. All right, so it's not bad. Again, on an IEM cable, I really would have liked to see a 90-degree angle connector here. I think that fits in a pocket better. If you're out and about doing on-the-go types of use and all of that, I really liked to see right angle connectors, okay, or right angle plugs on the amp end of these cables. But yeah, it is what it is. So there's kind of a theme here. This cable, I mean, you see it is a little on the springy side, but it's not terrible. Like, you can manage it. I could manage it. I ended up using my triple win cable, which I will link to in the description below, which I bought off of Amazon. Triple win 8-core, I believe. And just because it lays a little nicer, and I have an adapter for that is a right angle and all of that, so that ended up working a little bit better for like when I would use these IEMs at the gym or something like that. But a general trend of this review that'll be coming out here is that nothing about this IEM or its accessory package and all of that is particularly bad, but at the same time, nor is it great. It's just kind of meh, right? Good enough to like not get my dander up about it, okay? But not great enough for me to be super excited about it either. It's just kind of a buttered white toast kind of thing, just not great, not bad. Okay, so let's get into that a little bit further. Let's look at the IEM itself, get this stuff out of here a little bit. Okay, and we have the shell. It's mostly metal. It's got this textured pattern right here, and then we have some venting with the brass material in the plug right there to control the amount of venting and all of that. We see that the nozzle is neither particularly big nor long, so I mean the fit on these for me is again kind of like with the stock tips, it didn't fit very well. They kept popping out of my ears, or they were too big in my ears, and they create some discomfort that way. But the SpinFit CP145s mostly took care of that, and so that's what I ran with on there. And you've got brass nozzles here, which are there for sonic reasons, right? Okay, they do unscrew a little bit, or at least that tip does right there. Okay, and there aren't any other tips that I saw in the package, so I'm not exactly sure what the purpose is of that. I had left them on when I did my testing on all of that here. So, I mean, look, they are fairly, I mean, I guess they're kind of average. They're not super light, they're not super heavy either, and all that, but they are well made, okay? Nothing wrong with that, with the way they're built or anything. So let's talk test gear and sound real quick then. So the two main sources that I used on this, again, I use them mostly in on-the-go settings, like when I get a set of IEMs for review. A thing that I basically always do with them is I take them to the gym with me and I use them there because that's mostly where I use IEMs. And I plugged these into my Ear Studio 100. Who makes that? Radzone Ear Studio 100, which is connected to my Galaxy S22 Plus smartphone, which is doing the filming right now. Okay, and that's connected via LDAC Bluetooth, and I mostly just stream Spotify. I have a big Spotify playlist that I shuffle when I do workout things and all of that. So it's not, the greatest quality there. But for critical listening, I brought these back and I plugged it into the balance output of my Canon N6 Mark II DAP with the EO2 module. And that would have played local FLAC and DSD files, those FLAC files being either lossless or high res. And then I can stream Qobuz through that too using the USB Audio Player Pro app. Okay. What did I find about the sound of these? And it kind of comes back to what I just said a few minutes ago. It's decent. It's okay. It's just not all that inspiring. It doesn't necessarily do anything horribly wrong. There are flaws in it, as you would expect for a $90 piece. None of those flaws are complete deal breakers for me, but just the whole presentation and package is just somewhat uninspiring to me. Okay, I can listen to these and enjoy the music that I'm hearing and all of that. They were decent when I was doing my workouts and all of that. Like, they didn't sonically get in the way there. But more in the critical listening, and even after like longer periods of time at the gym, by the time I was able to take them out, I was noticing that I was getting a little bit of fatigue here and there. So let's talk more about that and what's going on here. And I guess I can bring back that frequency response curve they put on the box here. This shows that you get a little bit of warmth above target, and I hear that too. Like, there is just a slight hint of warmth in there, but then there's a little bit of raggedness to the upper treble here, and that I think comes out a little bit here. So, I mean, they are mostly neutral in sound there. Neutral, slightly warm tilt, okay, to them. So the overall frequency response and all of that is fine. I'm pretty sure this is a diffuse field target. If you like the diffuse field target, this is mostly right up the alley. My biggest complaint would be in the treble there. You see that the tonal balance can be just a little bit off. And so these have just a slight hint of, edginess to them, to their sound. Just a little bit of like metallic-y harshness kind of a sound in the treble that just throws off the timbre and the tonality just a hint up in the treble, which is usually not a big problem and doesn't immediately get in my way and doesn't immediately become grating, but over time does get a little bit fatiguing. And then there's always just that little bit of it there that just prevents these from ever really sounding natural or real to me. It gets close enough for my ears to like expect it to sound a little bit more natural, and then it doesn't. And that like just kind of gets to me a little bit over longer listening sessions with these. Okay, but other than that, like, there's decent bass extension and presence. There's good slam and impact and all of that. The mid-range tonal balance is pretty decent. Like, I didn't notice a whole lot of shout or honk or anything like that going on here. It's mostly in the treble where I noticed some tonality problems. The other issue that I'm going to talk about here is like the resolution is not poor, but it is also not great. Right, and what I notice here is like, if you step up, like, you pay $20, $30 more than these, which I realize for a $90 IEM, paying $30 more is like another 33% of the cost of these things, okay? But you pay $30 more than this, and I think you're getting into the range of like the Tantrum Cara. And to me, these have a very similar sound signature to the Cara, but the Cara is noticeably more resolving and textured in its sound. And so this the presentation, the individual sounds and notes and all of those kinds of things, like the sounds that you are hearing, sound reasonably natural, but they're kind of like, in terms of a textury kind of way, they're kind of like looking at flat paint. Whereas the Kara had a little bit more texturing and resolution to it, whereas like looking at eggshell paint, there's just a little bit more going on in what you're looking at, okay? But translate that to hearing here. But again, these are not bad. I do think there's going to be some people out there that like these quite a bit. It's just, to me, even at $90, the price-performance ratio and all that you get here isn't terrible. It's decent. It's just uninspiring. Okay? And in a way that it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to miss these when they were gone, but nor would I be hugely upset if they stayed around. It's just somewhat kind of meh in the middle for me on that. Okay, so as far as like other comparisons go, I just mentioned the Tantrum Kara, but like I think I would recommend, like if you're looking at the Moondrop line, I think I would recommend skipping over these and going for like the Moondrop, the Blessing 3, and what's the one with the interchangeable nozzles? The name is just escaping me. Is it the Blessing 3? But whatever that one is, I will put a link down in the description and all that, because I've reviewed several Moondrops lately. Go for that one too. And those are a little bit more money than this, but not like crazy. So, right? I think, to me, those are the the better price performance options over these. Okay. I'll go ahead and wrap this one up here. Thanks for watching. Please like this video if you haven't yet. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Check out my PayPal, my Patreon, and generally do those things that you do to support YouTube channels. And as always, enjoy the music.